is
Bitch, let's talk.
So let's get started off in Pop Tart World. If my voice cracks, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm going through puberty at 30. It's a thing, I guess.
I mean, we growing people.
I don't like it. So for our Pop Tart World this week, Harvard University students are actually suing Harvard University. There is a program called, see what I'm saying? My voice. The Prison Diversement Campaign. And so essentially they're claiming that Harvard has investment in the prison program in Boston. And so they're trying to revert that and use that money to go towards people who have been wrongfully incarcerated. They are also trying to get money for people to get employment opportunities who have been mistreated because of the system. So if you want to donate, you want to learn more, you can go to Howard. Shout out to Howard University. Harvard prisondivest.org. So I think that's really interesting. I'm surprised they didn't get kicked out of the school. Like,
I'm surprised it's not really all over.
You know that's not gonna be all over, child.
Yeah.
If they could shut them up, they would, but they can't. But I'm just surprised they didn't fuck up their tuition.
I read a little bit about it earlier today, and I thought it was really interesting. That's all I can say. I wish that it gets a little. I think hopefully it get a little bit more buzz.
Yeah, they took it to the Supreme Court, which is a really big deal. So to have young people fight for people that cannot fight for themselves, I always think that is a beautiful thing. I just think it's funny because it's your own students are suing you, which is crazy. So shout out to them. So summer is about to be so lit. People who know me know that I love cinema, and Jordan Peele is just everything to me. I'm not going to do this Get Out situation with me today. I'm not doing it. We'll talk about Bryan and his issues with Get Out another day. But he's actually going to do the remake of Candyman, which scared the shit out of me as a child, the original version. And I'm excited because they're actually bringing some of the original cast back. Vanessa Williams and is his name Tony Todd? Tony Todd. I'm over it today. Tony Todd. But the main character is actually going to be with Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. And he was in Aquaman. He was Black Manta, which I thought he did an extremely great job. He was also in Black Mirror on Netflix, and he did the Striking Vipers episode that fucked my entire head up.
Love that episode.
That episode fucked me up. I didn't know what to feel.
I did not like his role or his acting in
Watchmen?
Aquaman.
You didn't?
No, I thought it was a little bit he was the Black Manta, right?
Yeah, you didn't like him?
I thought it.
Really?
I'm telling you, I didn't.
Why?
But I just felt it was lacking, compared to all the people that he was, next to. I think that
I think he did a great job.
I think he could have came a little bit went a little bit harder on it, and picked up. And that's how I feel about Michael B. Jordan too. But we can have that conversation another time.
Don't talk about Zaddy. Yaya is also a Zaddy. I've noticed him, but then I looked him up and I was like, damn, he looked good as shit. So shout out to Jordan Peele, and actually Nia DaCosta is going to be the director. She's a Black director. She's young. This will be her biggest film debut. So shout out to her. I'm really, really excited. I'm always really excited to talk about Jordan Peele because I've never seen somebody who is just so intellectually engaged with so many genres, whether it's TV, whether it's film. And I can't fathom that this is the same guy who's in Key and Peele.
He tells the way he tells stories is the reason why I love Jordan Peele. It's the scope is really it's really, really up close. You get this weird perspective that you wouldn't normally get. He's not afraid to bring that camera right up to that the actor's eyes and really show that, capture those kind of moments. But I really love Jordan Peele, and I actually saw the trailer for this, and I'm actually excited. And I love the little Destiny Child.
Yes, Simone. First of all, when he did put 5 on it with Get Out, and I was like, oh, this is eerie. And then he did Say My Name, and I'm like, this nigga is on to something.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah, he's definitely brilliant. So shout out to Jordan Peele. The movie is supposed to debut June the 12th. So I'm very excited. It's just very refreshing to see Black people in horror films, but but not being the first one being killed. Like, actually controlling the narrative, being able to have, like, multiple people, opposed to you having, like, a white protagonist and, like, a white random black person who's, like, the friend of the groupie of the white people. And then they die, like, in 10 minutes.
I love how,
like, it's so frustrating. Like,
Black Horror now has a level of humor. I don't know if that's intentional, but, like, the, Us film?
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Yes, I've seen it.
I found some moments in that movie to be kind of funny.
Oh, so, absolutely.
Even Get Out. Get Out was, was that a psychological thriller?
Yeah.
And it was a lot of funny, like, moments.
I mean, and the thing that...
It's a good break
you
from
want
that
something
heavy...
that's jarring, but something that's also entertaining. And I think that's why he's so prolific to me. Because he really invokes so many different emotions. And it's like, I don't know how to feel. Like, I'm angry, I'm excited, I'm laughing, now I'm scared, I'm nervous. So I'm really excited to see Candyman. I don't think he's the best person to do this. And watch his Hunters show that finally came out. We talked about it on the podcast, I think, in 2018.
Amazon Prime, right?
Yeah, Amazon Prime. And it is really, really good. It's about Nazi hunters who are in America. I won't spoil it, but just watch it.
It's in my queue next to Sex and the City, which I'm watching.
Bitch, yes, I watch Sex and the City all the time.
It's my third time watching the entire thing.
First of all, I will watch every episode.
Same.
And be just as excited like I watched it for the first time.
We can have a little watch party.
Yes, come through with a watch through party with Carrie and them. So I'm really excited because Proud Family is finally coming back. People have been asking for this for years, and then we finally get it. It's going to be on Disney Plus. I have no idea when it's coming out, but everybody is coming back. Even the producers, the writers. The only person that's not coming back is Orlando Brown.
Rightfully so.
So I don't know who's gonna play Sticky. So hopefully they can find someone that's close that sounds like Orlando Brown. I don't know what's going on with Orlando Brown. That video with him only in America. Like that video was like the funniest shit I've seen.
And the Nick Cannon sucked his dick thing.
Yeah, like he said Nick Cannon sucked his dick.
I was unsure if I could say dick. You saw me pause like that? I'm like,
you definitely can say dick. Or you can say penis.
I mean, dick is...
Dick is fine. It suffices. So I'm really excited. It's going to be called Prouder and Louder. And I just found out, like, I'm today years old, found out that Uncle Bobby is Cedric the Entertainer. He's the voice.
Yeah.
I had no idea. First of all, I fucking love Uncle Bobby.
I love Cedric the Entertainer, so I think he's always going to put, like, a...
So when Shaka Khan did her rendition... When she did her rendition of what is that thing called? The national anthem. When I heard it, I just remember Uncle Bobby singing the national anthem, and they were there for like 5 hours, and I felt the same as that way with Shaka Khan. Like,
Shaka Khan is hilarious for that.
I was like, sis, were you drinking?
She's like, I'm getting out of bed and I'm doing this, and that's what she did.
It was so, I could not stop laughing. And I stand for Shaka Khan, but like, sis. And all I could think was about Uncle Bobby.
Sis knocked 2 glasses of champagne down before she got
No, she had some Henny, dog. Like that, sounding like that was definitely Hennessy. So stay tuned. It's going to come on Disney Plus. If you haven't seen the older episodes, they have everything on there. But they better have the intro.
Yeah.
You with me? I sing that every time.
It's signature. They have to keep that.
Unless they just do the same thing, but like just re-record it. Because Solange is really young when that. You know? So we need like new Solange.
I mean,
but Destiny's Child at the background. She can do her own fucking background, so I guess that doesn't really matter.
I'm good with where it is, honestly.
Really?
I can keep the same. I'm sure they still own that. So.
Probably so.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I don't think that Solange need to put a new, love her down though.
Love her down.
But I don't think she should, create a new jingle or theme song.
We'll see. Hopefully it comes out this year. If not, hopefully next year. So I was talking to Bryan. I do not watch Black Ink. Is this New York or Chicago?
It's New York.
I haven't watched it in a very long time. I think since the second season. But I was on Instagram, minding my Black business, And I see Sky. I know who Sky is. I remember when she got her body done.
She looks like a thumb with a wig on. And every time I say this, people are like dying. But like honestly, if you look at your thumb and imagine what Sky looks like, she looks just like that with a wig on top of her head. It's hilarious.
Okay, you're so petty.
No, it's true.
Anyway, there was a scene that I saw, and I remember seeing that her 2 sons she adopted when she was younger. And she was having a conversation with her son.
She didn't adopt them. She gave them
up. She gave them up from adoption. Thank you. And, you know, she wanted to, I guess, be a good mother again and have them in her life. She's doing a terrible job, by the way. And so she got into it with her son about stealing. Yeah. And what did he call? He called her a bitch?
He said a lot of things. He said that she sold her body. But like to me, it seems as though they didn't show the entire conversation.
Oh yeah, probably
you only
not.
got that last end of their argument where the argument started. When the scene came on, the argument literally was happening. She called him a thief and things like that. But then she went in to say some very like terrible things, like a mom should never say.
Like I hate you. I never wanted you. Your father
don't want you. Yeah.
And so. The show was already toxic as fuck. Like, we already know that. But, like, to see parents engage with their child like that, oh, that bothers me. Now, I am not a mother. However, I am someone's child. And I can't tell you the type of depression, insecurity, and fear that would set in me to hear my mother, who did give me up for adoption, Lord knows the type of situation you went through in foster care and having bad foster parents. And then you tell me in my face that you hate me. Yeah. You also tell me in my face that I should have swallowed you. You also tell me in my face that I didn't want you, your father didn't want you. And the shit that really pissed me off is that she goes on social media and says, God is still working on me.
I'm not perfect yet. That was weird to me as well.
And I'm like, bitch, I hate when people say God is still working on me and you still doing the same ass shit.
It's an excuse to be
a fucked up person.
Yeah,
like no, I can't do that. And it's like there's no remorse. There is no sense of like.
She like I said what I said.
Like that's your child. Like how can you talk about your child in that manner? And so like I never really fucked with the bitch to begin with, but that's gross.
So context clues about that. She's like apparently her mom, battled with bipolar disorder, and they're trying to attach that to her character. Like maybe she's suffering from the same things. But like to me, that's still not an excuse. I think that like maybe she reached back because of the show. Like why reach back and grab these kids, dig these kids up out of nowhere? They probably would live in their own situations. They had no idea what was going on. You reach back and then things are chaotic. Your kids are out here doing crazy things, but you're not there to support them
in any form.
So he might be stealing because he don't have anything.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you're on TV, you're traveling, and you're doing all these things. I'm just saying, don't put yourself in a situation and not be there to back up whatever happens. You know what I mean? So
seriously. Don't
reach back and not be there to support them in this time. And these are grown men now. They're hurt, and he was crying in the car about like how he feels like he's never had nobody, real in his life, and then he meets his mom, and she
is trash.
Is awful.
Trash.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I really feel like I don't know if that's a Mona Scott thing or that's what
Mona Scott is just terrible, like awful person.
She is.
I have a question for you though. If the situation was, in your life, would you reach back? I mean, would you want to know who your like parents is? If they abandoned you as a child, would you want to know who your biological parents are?
I definitely would want to know. I definitely would want to know, just why. And it can be various reasons, whether you were struck out on drugs, you couldn't afford me, maybe I'm a form of rape, you always want to know the answer. Our main thing of existence is, why am I here? What is my purpose? And so when you feel disconnected from the people who, created you, it kind of helps with giving you some form of understanding of a why.
Yeah.
But I think if I was to reach back to find my mom And she said some shit like that to me, like, I'll be in jail. I can't, that level of anger, I'm already angry because you left me. And Lord knows, like, the foster care system is horrible. I know so many horror stories from so many children who are getting abused, who are malnourished. Like, the list goes on and on. And then, like, when it comes to black men, that's what really pissed me off, too. Not saying that I don't care about black women, but it's something about that just, it hurt me to my core to see this black young man suffering so much emotionally. And she doesn't give one fuck. So my thing is, like, get them the help that they need and remove yourself. Right. Like, don't put them back on the show. Stop making money off of trauma. Yeah. And that is the shit that really disgusts me. Yeah. That whole VH1, Mona Scott, like, stop making money off of black people's trauma. We have enough shit that we are dealing with just by being born into fucking America. It's almost we don't like need a that. Coach.
It's like this, I'm going to throw you in a situation and we'll see whatever happens. Like, you know, you're digging up something that is really, like, rooted in a lot of pain. And if I was to answer my own question, I would not want to, I don't think that I would want to, no. Really? Because I feel as though, you know, what was in the past, like, whatever had to be done was done. And my life is this way, and I have to pick up whatever I have left. You don't, like, I feel like, and to me, I would be looking for somebody to blame for why my life is this way. Why did you give me up? You know, why your life could have been worse, you know, had you stayed or had your mom kept you. So, I don't think I would want to pick back. I wouldn't want to know what happened, or I would kind of, like, really, like, leave that to where it is. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this: what if they reached out to you?
I would definitely decline. Yes. I would decline it. I'm sorry I don't know you, but I hope you
wish you well.
Wish you the best. I don't want to know you. You gave me up. I'm sorry.
And I know there's probably some trash ass moms listening to this. Like, I know some trash ass moms. No, like, seriously, like, I know people who are emotionally not in, like, just super detached based off of their trauma. But this is the issue. You cannot use trauma as an excuse to be a fucked up person. Yeah. You have to self-reflect and figure out, okay, what's going on? What am I missing? You know, you see all these bad things happening to you. You see the cause and effect. The next question is, okay, why? And then it's like, okay, you try to figure out why. But get a therapist. Like, talk to someone.
That's what I was literally about to say.
Like,
get help.
It doesn't... Like, it's an excuse. Like, everyone in this room has seen some bad shit, experienced bad shit, went through bad shit. Like, it does not give you the right to, like, really fuck up a human being. But you gave life to this. Even though you gave your children up for adoption. Like, the fact that you can look in your child's eyes and shit on them like they're a regular-ass person in the street. Like, it just disgusts me.
But I think that is the reason, you know, I don't know you. I did not raise you. I have no idea who you've been, and that's why I'm able to stand in front of you as a mom and say fuck you, you know. And that's really where it came from. Like, this, she doesn't have any, you know, strong ties connected to this person emotionally. She didn't raise that child, so to her, yes, unfortunately, we are blood related, but, like, I don't know you.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, but at the end of the day, we're human. And
that's no way to defend. I'm not defending her at all. I'm just saying,
no, like, I just feel like, you know, as humans, you know, people always say respect is earned. And I believe that to a certain degree. But I do think there has to be a foundation of regular respect towards each and every person.
I think you have to have a lot of respect for yourself. And you give it. I'm gifting you this much of me. I'm gifting you this respect. Yeah. And, you know, like I said, you have to earn more of it. Like, I know you well. I only know you as well as I know you. Right. So I can trust that, you know, I can sit across from you in this moment and have genuine conversation. I trust that. I respect you in that aspect. But am I going to respect you handling $100,000 of mine? Probably the fuck not. You know what I mean? So, like, we gift people, you know, the respect that we have. But if we don't have self-respect, we don't have anything to give. We are very toxic. We disrespect people. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, work on building that, you know, a higher level of respect for yourself. and then you can, you can go out and save the world. Like,
you better go ahead and be.
Don't be half empty, So.
But there's a lot of people who are half empty trying to give up everything that they have, and then wonder why they are incomplete.
I'm so sick of the people that give. Oh my goodness. I gave you all this time. I invested all this time.
Whose fault is that?
You don't give anything that you don't have. You know what I mean? I can't, if I don't have it, I can't give you. And if I'm giving you something and leaving myself empty, that makes no sense to me. You fill yourself up completely and everybody else get what flows over. And that's just the way of it.
Yeah. So the situation is just completely toxic, and
Sky is...
Yeah, she's trash. The whole show is trash. I won't say VH1 is trash, but they're on its way.
They're making their money.
They're very close to too many traumas, too much drama, and just too much unnecessary stuff.
The fact that just want to quickly wrap that VH1 thing up. When you get into these kind of situations, that's all you have.
Yeah,
you have to continue. You have to continue being a VH1 reality star. When you get into reality television, it becomes all that you are.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure those contracts are not giving you enough for you to be an entity in that way. So some more positive news.
Yes.
March is always so exciting for me because we are celebrating Women's Month. So for our Black Magic, we will be celebrating women who have definitely impacted the culture and everything that they have done. So for this week is going to be Dr. Hadaya Green, and she is the first person to successfully cure cancer with laser technology. She has developed by using nanoparticles, and she targets and destroys cancer cells, which is absolutely amazing. She is also the founder of the Aura Lee Foundation, which she actually started because her aunt passed away from cancer, and that kind of inspired her to do the work that she's doing today. And she is also the second Black woman to graduate with a PhD from University of Alabama. So thank you, Hadaya, for everything that you have done. Today is a very mournful day for me because I actually lost a very close friend of mine to cancer today. It will be 4 years. So it is very inspiring to see, that people are coming together and getting rid of this stupid fucking disease.
Yeah.
It is killing people rapidly outside of, heart disease. So thank you, Hadaya, for that. So for our panel discussion for this week, Women's Month is very important to me. I think it's very important to celebrate women, especially women of color. We need to uplift them. We need to cherish them. We need to love them. And for this week, we have the beautiful and wonderful Coco Alexa. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So let's just jump right into this. Who is Coco Alexa?
I am a natural born psychic medium, which means I can talk to dead people, and I can also...
Very scary and exciting.
Yes, it is. I am a tarot reader, born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, West Baltimore, FNT. So, yeah, I've been doing this for over 15 years. I started when I was 13 years old.
Wow.
When I started, it was a very, very personal and very secret thing for me because I didn't want to be penalized. Mm-hmm. I'm from a typical Black family who is, pretty Christian based. Mm-hmm. I didn't grow up in religion, though. My mom is very spiritual, so she bought me my first deck. My mom's into crystals and angels and all of that. So she, was just like, oh, okay, do your thing or whatever. So I just had my little deck and, I've always had a deck since then. So it's been a very interesting journey. It wasn't until probably in like my mid-20s where I really started to completely dive in and accept the fact that I'm psychic and I have these gifts. I'm clairvoyant, which means that I can see dead people. I'm clairaudient, which means that I can hear dead people. And I'm also clairsentient, which means that I can feel energy and I can feel spirits. So it was very scary. But yes, it's very scary, but it's also very beautiful. It's very, very beautiful. And being able to develop my gifts over the years, and then also finally find a community, because that was very hard. It was very, very difficult for me to find not only other psychics and mediums and readers, but these people of color. Yeah. Because we're always so like, you going to hell. And it's just but I'm not. I'm just gifted. Like,
so when did you find out? Like you said, you started at 13, but when was the moment when you realized like you were special?
I think I want to say maybe 24. Yeah, and I'll be 30 this year. Okay. Where I was just like, oh shit, I saw that, and then it happened. Like, where I really was like, okay, like, there's something more to this. Like, it definitely started there. And like I said, then I kind of started to like really want to know. Like, I want to know more about this, and I want to figure this out, because then I was also going through a lot. At that moment, I ended up, I had a really bad breakup from a long-term relationship, and I was alone a lot of times, and I'm like, I need something. Being someone who didn't grow up in religion, and everyone is telling me, you need to have faith. You need to have faith. And I'm just like, okay, well, I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know what faith is. I don't know what that concept means. So it wasn't really until kind of hitting rock bottom where I gained faith, where I gained faith in myself. I gained faith in spirit. I gained faith in my ancestors. And it was just like, oh, okay, this is what it means. Like, it means to believe that although something bad may be happening, you gotta have faith that you're gonna see it through, and you'll be okay, and that you're safe, and that you're protected, you know. So, and a lot of things, I definitely was in denial about a lot of things, but I've seen miracles happen. And when you see miracles, you have no choice but to believe. Right. So, yeah. When is your abilities like heightened? Like, is there a certain time of the day, or no? I'm developed. I can amplify them when I want, and then I can kind of like, I definitely have very strong boundaries. Now, when I'm smoking grass and when I'm drinking, it's on 1,000. It's when I'm drunk, especially, I can see ghosts and spirits very clearly, like really, really clearly.
When was the first time you saw your first spirit or ghost?
Like clear as day. This was probably like maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I was at Joy Hill Park behind the pool. Okay. And I decided, I was like, oh, I'm gonna smoke some grass. I rolled up and everything, and I didn't have a fucking lighter. I was like, that's some bullshit. I need a lighter. And as I'm sitting there, I look up, and it was a lighter sitting on the ledge. And I was like, thank you, spirit. I need to smoke anyway. Like, so I climbed up there, and I got it, and I sparked up. And I was like, okay, good. I'm feeling really good. I'm going to sit, and I'm going to meditate. And I'm laying in the grass, and I feel something. Like, I got my eyes closed and everything, and I feel something. I was like, why does it feel like somebody's getting closer to me? And I'm like, I'm in the park. It's during the day, so people are, out there. So I open my eyes. In the corner of my eye, I see this old, probably maybe like from maybe the 1800s, old white couple, both in black. The guy had like a top hat on, and like the whole like 3-piece suit and the whole thing. Wow. And the woman had like this like black, like gothic looking like dress. And they're both like getting closer to me. And I'm like looking, and I'm just like, what y'all want? And they're like looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing here? You don't belong here. Right. Because they're white. That time, you know, they're like, you little black girl, like, you need to get the fuck.
They did not call you no black girl.
Right, exactly. So I'm like,
they called you something else.
Right. And I don't know if, you know about the Druids, but in, just that area, I'm pretty sure that they were slaves and, all of that. So I was just like, well, that's my cue. I'm getting out of here, because I felt them getting closer and closer and closer to me. And I'm just like, they don't really want me here. And I'm not about to be attacked. So I was just like, I'm gonna go now. And I packed my shit and went. But that was like the first time that I like saw like clear as day, like spirits.
So how do you protect yourself from those energies?
I definitely call on my ancestors first. They are very protective. My crystals and my stones, I always have crystals on me, wearing them, carrying them. And I have a very strong aura. I've made my aura very strong, so it's impenetrable. I can come out of my aura, but nothing can come in my aura, especially as I'm working and things like that. Only because I've had instances where when I first started doing readings for other people and things like that, I didn't really protect myself that well, and I've gotten physically sick. I mean, for like days, like I would be physically sick. Or just feeling really, really heavy and wondering why, when I'm like, but no, there's no reason for me to be heavy, and realizing that it's not my energy, it's someone else's. So I really had to do a lot of work around that. And even my home, like
her home, let me tell you, I went to see her last week, and I was sitting down, and I was like, I felt welcome, like I felt at peace, but I felt something. Like I felt something in that space. And her damn cat. I'm telling you, like I looked at the cat looked me dead into my soul. She was sweet. She was very nice. She was like just looking at me with these little orange eyes, and I'm like, this is not a normal cat. Like she saw me. Yeah. And I've never in my life felt that way before.
Yeah, Lux will definitely look deep down into your soul.
Yeah, Lux
like,
is a different type
she
of
is.
Niggas need to step his game up. We had to teach him some new tricks or something. Lux is different, but I felt like peace. Like, you know, sometimes like when you walk in someone's home or personal space, like you can feel the negativity. This was the first time I felt, I don't want to say consumed, I don't know a good word is, but I felt at peace, but I felt there was a presence, you know. And she says, look, like my house is protected, so if you was a bad energy, like you wouldn't even made it through my door. And I believe that, because I felt soon as I walked past her threshold, like I was in a whole nother space. I really felt that. But yeah, shout out to Lux. Like,
yeah. Shout out to
like, Lux definitely had me. I was like, is this cat staring at me?
Yeah.
Like,
and she and I've had instances where I've had, you know, people like come into my home, and my ancestors were like, they need to go. Like, and they'll my ancestors will make them feel uncomfortable to the point where they gotta go. And it's just like, oh, well, that was that.
So have you dealt with someone who has like a true negative energy outside of your home, but just
absolutely. Oh my gosh, I ride the bus every single day. I see demons in people all the time, darkness in people all the time. We live in Baltimore. It's inevitable.
Yeah,
it's inevitable. And it's hard to see sometimes. It's hard to see, because sometimes you see where people, they try to fight that. Yeah. They try to fight that like demon. They try to fight it. And other people, you could just see where it's consumed them. They're shriveled up. You see darkness in their eyes. You don't see any light. And it's just like, damn. And I try really hard not to look people in their eyes when I see that, because I'm like, I don't want you to like that to me. You keep that to yourself. Whatever.
So are you like one of those people, like they can't touch your hand or they can't hug you? Like, is energy that transferable that quickly?
Yes. So I'm a massage therapist by trade. So absolutely. There's been times where people have completely drained me. And I'm like, never again. Like, I don't ever want you on my massage table ever again. But I don't touch people that often. Like, if I'm giving somebody a hug, it's because I really, like, I feel really good about it. Like, if I'm just like, oh, okay, like, I will slam, be like, all right, like, I'll greet you and everything, but we greeting by elbows. I'm not shaking your hand. I'm not hugging you. And I'm a hugger. So me embracing somebody, like, that means that, like, I really feel good about your energy. But other people, I just like, I don't know what it is, but I ain't fucking with them. Hey, how you doing? And I keep it short. Like,
what's crazy is I feel that way a lot of times, you know, and I don't know if it's just like, you know, I'm feeling someone else's vibrations, but I know when a person is, you know, genuine, and it's different when, because I have plenty of friends where when I get with them, time just melts. Like it does not, exist any longer. Like we're just in this space, and then next thing you know, 4 hours has gone past, and y'all still in this blissful atmosphere, But what is a remedy if someone is dealing with like a demon, or dealing with like a negative, energy on them? Like how could they fix that for themselves?
First, they would need to acknowledge it. Because I feel like a lot of people are in denial. It's just like you're wondering why all of these bad things are happening, and you haven't accepted that, like, it might be you. Like, it might just be you attracting that, because what we give off is what we also attract. So there's that, and then also wanting to change. Like, wanting to not be negative. And then the way that people speak. When you speak about yourself, when you speak about others, I can't tell you how many times, like even complaining, you hear somebody complain about every little thing. And it's like, why are you complaining about everything? Like, but what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? Like, you woke up this morning. That's a blessing that some people don't have, so true. There's that. I am a highly believer in some sage. Some sage, some Florida water. Like I said, crystals that can definitely raise your high vibration. Even with music. Like, some of the music that we listen to, some of the sounds and things like that we hear on a daily basis, that can change your vibration and your frequency. I mean, even living in a city, it can be hard because there's so much going on and so much energy, happening. So yeah, definitely those are some ways for sure. And also changing your circle. If you find that your circle is, you got people that are they're dealing with the wrong types of people. They're negative themselves. They do a lot of complaining. They do a lot of bitching. But they are not changing anything. It's time to remove yourself for sure.
That's definitely a word right there. So growing up, you had the support from your mom. But what is it like from a societal standpoint? Because as a psychic, you guys are demonic and witches and all these other things, so how is it socially for you?
It's interesting because usually when I tell people that here recently, they're open. But then they always ask me what my relationship is with God. And I'm just like, it's really good. I have a very good relationship with God. Like, I can hear him. Like, it's been times where God has been like, this is God. And I'm like, whoa, this is a completely different entity than who my ancestors are and my spirit guides and even angels. So, it's been interesting because then it's also read my palm. And I'm like, well, I'm not a palm reader. Even like today, the brother came in, he's like, read my energy. And it's just like, sometimes it's fine, but other times it's just like, why do you think I want to peer into your energy? I don't know what you got going on, and nor do I want it attached to me. Like, I don't want any of that happening. Like, how dare you? Like, and honestly, I kind of wish that people didn't do that because you don't know what my intent is. You're asking me to peer into your energy, and I could fuck your energy all the way up if I wanted to. I can do all kinds of shit. Why are you giving me access to that?
So how, if someone wants to get help from a psychic, how does a normal person, I would say, be able to know if you're real or know that you're not a fucked up person that's not fucking with people's souls and energies?
One thing that I tell people all the time is do not spend your last on me. Because I have heard where people are like, well, I had to give somebody $400 so that they can cleanse me. You should never be spending that much money on a cleansing. Unless maybe if it's over a period of time. But if somebody's asking you to just send them $400 for one cleansing and you have not had a reading, so they don't even know what's going on with you and if they can actually do it. And then also, if they're how can I say this? If they're kind of feeding into whatever you're worried about, or whatever you're anxious about, or whatever your fear is. So if someone's coming to me and they say, I feel like my boyfriend is cheating on me, or whatever the case may be, and maybe their boyfriend is not necessarily cheating, but they're spending time with somebody. Me telling you like, oh yeah, you're right, they are cheating on you with this one and that one, and you need to be wary of da 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 da. Now, granted, that does happen, but at the same time, it's just like, well, no, he's not cheating on you. He's working really hard. Like maybe he's just trying to get some money up or something like that, and just being really honest and very real. So if that person is already coming off, and also people who are asking too many questions. If somebody's giving me too much information, I'm just like, don't tell me no more, because Spirit's going to tell me everything that I need to know. Don't tell me nothing, because then I also don't want somebody to be like, well, I told her all of this stuff, and then she just said it right back to me. Because that happens too. Because I'm like, oh, so what type of work? And I'll ask, there are questions where I just want a little bit more information just for context. Yeah. But you're giving details and things like that. It's like, no one should be asking you those questions. Right. Like, that just shouldn't be happening. So those are some ways. Sure.
So how do you feel about, like, well, let me go back. Let's debunk some myths. Because the first time I heard about a psychic was calling me now.
Yes.
Yes. She made so much money off of scamming people. And I just remember it became a thing. Like, she was the face, but then it was like all these other people. You would call an 800 number, you get a reading over the phone. Do you think people still have that same mentality now?
Absolutely.
What was that? Like 94, 95?
Psychic hotlines absolutely still exist.
Are they real?
Yeah, they can be. They can be. I mean, I've definitely met some people who have done that, but it's very draining. To me, it's just not a sufficient way of working. Okay. But definitely a few myths. We do not sit around waiting for your phone call. We don't just be sitting here like, okay, I'm just waiting for my clients.
Where's your crystal ball?
Right, exactly. Even though that is a thing.
It is a thing?
Yes, crystal balls. That's called scrying, where you're using a crystal, you're using even a mirror or a reflective surface, water, candles. Like, people can look into fire, which I thought was interesting because in Game of Thrones, you're like, look into the fire. So those ways are very real. And some people can do it, some people can't. Cause like I can't scry. Like, I've tried. Like, I've definitely tried to scry. Gift. Yeah, like, it's not. And it takes another level of concentration. Like, you can easily get put into a trance by looking into fire. Like, I've definitely gone into a trance trying to look into fire in certain things. And I'm just like, this isn't for me. I don't want to be pulled in. Like, I don't want to be pulled in. What are some other myths?
Well, we already taught that you're not a witch.
Oh.
When it comes to religion, like we were talking about earlier, as far as you're a voodoo queen. So let's clarify.
Okay, yes. So, voodoo and hoodoo, voodoo, santeria, those are all different things. Hoodoo, you do not need to be initiated into hoodoo. It is an African American Southern magical practice, and it's root working and conjuring in that way. Like, I would consider myself a conjure woman and a root worker because I use herbs. Like, I use herbs, I use the thing like elements. So water, fire, nature, and air to conjure and to do things. Voodoo, you need to be initiated into voodoo. And quite frankly, even with like Haitian voodoo, I feel like if you are not Haitian, then you should not be practicing Haitian voodoo. Your ancestors are not tied to that. You know what I mean? So, but here lately, I feel like a lot of Black people are really trying to take back a lot of the things that have been assimilated and just kind of taken as always, and turned into something else, because there's even like a lot of books and things like that where white people will write these books and then they may use black names, you know, to make it seem like they're coming from a black place, you know. And it's just like, no. And oddly enough, a lot of them are Jewish, which is I don't know the correlation behind that, but it's just really, really interesting, because it's ours. And I try to tell black people that we all are highly intuitive. We all are very intuitive. You know, like you said, you can feel when people, you know, have bad energy or something just don't feel right about a person, or you walk into a room, you like, this don't feel good, and you leave, you know.
How do you open that third eye, essentially?
Meditation. Meditation is key. Meditation and solitude.
How do you meditate? Because there's a difference between meditation and prayer. Or do you think they both go? You think they're both the same?
I don't think they're the same necessarily, but you can use. I feel like you can use meditation to pray. Yeah, you could definitely use meditation to pray. But I'm a very firm believer of whatever you want your practice to be, can be. I tell people all the time, and even spirits, you know, told people through readings, like, your meditation does not need to be you sitting down in a quiet room. Your meditation needs to be you knitting. Like, anything that can put you in a trance, painting, art, going on a walk, going for a run, anything that can really get you grounded enough that your mind is so clear by the end of it. You're like, okay, I just went somewhere. You know, sometimes you find yourself doing things. You're like, where did I just go? You know what I mean?
Right.
So a lot of times, you know, you can go into a meditative state without just sitting and being quiet. Like, and there's definitely space for that. It's been times, like, I'm at this point in my meditation practice, I can meditate for an hour. That's a long time for someone that's never meditated before.
Especially we have an attention problem.
Exactly. 5 minutes of meditation. Right. Like,
after 10 minutes, you're like, all right,
I'm exactly. It's difficult. And it took me a long time to get there. Like, and sometimes when I'm out of practice, I got to start all over again. It's been times when I've been in such a deep meditation that I've gone to different dimensions.
So, can you astral project?
I cannot, but my boyfriend can. Which is when he'll tell me, like, I'm not here. And I'm like, well, where are you? Like, where you at, babe? Come back, you know. But I have yet to master astral projection. I've done it before and it scared me. So I was just like, oh, no, I want to go back down.
Oh, for people who doesn't know what astral projection is, it's when is it your soul?
Yeah, it's like your soul leaves your body, leaves your physical form.
You're able to navigate
through.
I have a quick question for clarity. There is a thing where you sleep and you're like in between sleep, and they call it the rich riding your back type thing.
Oh, the monkey on your back.
Is that astral projection?
I wouldn't consider. Astral projection is like, okay, if that happens to you and you can see it happening to you.
Oh, so I can physically see myself getting outside.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you ever see the movie Insidious?
Really
That's the only thing, the best way I can describe it, when the little boy was able to travel to different dimensions. He got caught up because the spirit knew they wanted a body. So when it comes to scary movies, how real is that for you? Like, is it, I won't say all truth, but there's some truth in some movies?
There was I don't really like watching scary movies, but there was a scary movie that I watched called Hereditary. And me and my siblings watched it, and they were like, oh, this isn't real. I'm like, yeah, fuck that. It's all real. All I'm like, all of this, like, this stuff that they got going on, these daggone witches and people crawling all over the fucking floor, like, in the ceilings and shit. Like, there's some wild stuff that happens when you start going into witchcraft and dealing with witches and brujas.
Are all witches evil?
No. Absolutely not.
Okay.
People will call me a witch. I ain't evil, but I can cast a spell on somebody if I need to. Like,
but you don't consider yourself a witch.
I don't.
What's the difference?
I just, to me, it's a negative connotation. And I don't like that. I don't like that. Like, I'm a conjure woman. I conjure, you know.
I've been seeing a lot of people embracing, their like psychic abilities, or even the community itself. Like, psychics aren't so scary, anymore. My question is, what advice would you give to someone who is looking to see a tarot reader, looking to see a psychic, but they are afraid because of this?
They're gonna go to hell.
Yeah.
What I say to that, especially the people who are religious or believe in God, wouldn't you want to know the answer to your prayer? Because people pray all the time. I'm praying, but I don't hear anything, which feels very, like, you kind of get defeated in that. So it's just like, you have the opportunity then to get that message and to get that insight or get clarity on a situation. Get yourself out of a bad time in your life or something like that. Even for people who are like, oh my gosh, I just miss this loved one. I miss this loved one so much, and I feel like they're close to me, but I don't know how to reach them. I don't know how to communicate with them. Wouldn't you want to just be able to have an hour with that person? Even I've had times where people's like, and it's kind of funny because it kind of reminds me of Ghost, like that first opening scene where...
Is this the Whoopi Goldberg film?
Yes.
This is the second time this week someone's brought that up, and then I saw it on Instagram, and now we're talking about it.
You need to watch it.
Yes, watch it.
Seen it.
Totally, it's a pretty good movie.
It is.
But she's like, she conjures this spirit up, and the wife is like, where's the insurance money? Where's the insurance money? And he's like, oh, I'm here. And it is surprising to some spirits to be called on and stuff like that. But then he, kind of drifts away. But it's just like, I've had clients that are like, where is the money? Because the family needs it. Yeah. So to be able to get that, to get that information, it's just like, oh, okay, it's in a drawer at grandma's old house. And they go in that drawer at grandma's old house, and there it is. And now you done changed, completely shifted your entire legacy just off of that information alone. I've had times where people have come to me and to find out that their father isn't their father, their mother isn't their mother. The reason as to why grandma had to make certain decisions for the family that people didn't want to kind of accept or know. But how healing is that?
Yeah.
Ready for springtime? How about you update that wardrobe with some BLT merch? And because we love you so much, everything will be 15% off. Our promo code is BLTPOD. Click the link in my description notes so you can purchase now.
So Coco has agreed to do a reading with us. It is going to be very general, so it's not just us. I already got my reading. Ooh, child. That reading was a blessing, but she read me down to the ground. So take it away.
Alrighty. Okay. All right, Spirit. Let me tell y'all that everybody's ancestors are in here, and they are so. Can I just say that all y'all ancestors are really proud of you guys. Aww. And proud of what you guys have been creating and doing, and what you're going to do in the future. So there's that. They're all really excited.
Hey, right. Ancestors.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Okay, here we go. Spirit, we call upon you graciously with love and light, and for the greater good of all involved. What is it that we need to know about this week? The first week of March 1st through the 7th. With love and light, Spirit. With love and light, please. All right, here we go. Come on, money. Come on, money. Love that.
I don't read cards, but I know what those cards mean. Only from my reading, though. That's always a good sign when you see that.
Yes. Some money coming in. All right. So the first message that I'm getting is that you need not fight your own growth. Okay. it's scary. Like, it's scary to grow, and it's scary to venture out into unknown territory ultimately. But you have to have confidence in it, or no one's going to actually believe that you want it. They're going to be like, yeah, right, sure, because you don't have the confidence of actually doing it. So you don't need to fight yourself. You don't need to, and I'm sensing kind of like this inner battle. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Maybe I should continue to do the same thing. It's just like, no, you need to move forward. You need to continue to grow. Only because whatever it is that you're doing currently right now, it's cool and everything, but it's still just not enough. Like, it's very comfortable. But that confidence piece is going to speak volumes when it's time to be in rooms where maybe a couple of years ago you may have felt that you weren't meant to be in that room. You weren't supposed to be in that room. But Spirit is saying, absolutely, you are supposed to be in that room. And I'm even seeing that you're the leader too. A lot of times when you are in those spaces, people are looking at you to, what do we do next? And they're looking for your guidance. So really honoring your growth and stepping into that versus being afraid, and really kind of taking command of your journey from this point on. I definitely see a lot of more of an overflow of opportunities, and opportunities to actually get paid for what people may have thought that you are not going to get paid for. I see some big jobs coming for some people. You're just like, holy shit. This is a big ass check that I was not expecting. Hey. Yeah, so when I say like money, like, yes, come on, bring it. And I see this maybe even being bigger projects. So when somebody's asking you, you know, what's the budget? And you're like, oh, the budget's $1 million. And you've never gotten that budget before. Like, you're like, oh, what? So that means that we can like shoot on location. That means we can fly places. That means we can like go do stuff. So really, truly an opportunity to really build on the foundation that you've already created. And I see too, with this shift and this elevation with a lot of these people in this room, this means too that you are going to have to leave people behind. And there's connections and things that just don't work anymore. Maybe partnerships, whether it be platonic, romantic, or even business partnerships that just don't work anymore. They're not sufficient. They're not making you money. If anything, they're making you lose money. And you guys just aren't, the vision just isn't there. And I find that when people are working with visionaries, it's either you have the vision or you don't. And when you don't have it, you need to move aside and you need to just follow along and stop trying to lead. And it takes a lot of, what's the word, Spirit, that we can use? There's a lot of pride that says, no, I belong, or no, I have vision too. And it's just like, but your vision isn't mine. So because of that, I need you to step to the side and be okay with that. I'm also seeing too just a lot of self-care this week, and really because February was busy, especially for a lot of people. So this week, I'm going to even take this one for myself. This week, it's really about, all right, you did a lot of work last month. You need to kind of pull in some self-care, some self-love, take a break, get a massage, go get your hair done, or your nails done, do something to really pour into yourself so that you can continue to work. If you're not going to use that time, you're going to be really, really, really drained by the end of the month and burnt out, like completely burnt out. And it's only March. So there is really no time or space to be getting burnt out when there's work to be done and people to lead. I'm also seeing a lot of petty bullshit getting put to the side at this time too. Understanding that there is no fucking crying in baseball. And when I say that, I mean there's no crying in business. No emotions need to be entangled in business. there's no space for it. So whatever petty bullshit that you may have with this partner or business entity, you need to put it to the side, put your pride aside, and do what's best for your business. Do what's best for your home space if you don't have a business. If you're freelancing or whatever the case may be, you need to really look at the bigger picture and not try to be like, oh, well, this person hurt my feelings or they didn't like what I did. No one cares. It's not making money. So no one cares about it. They don't care how you feel. You need to get over it. Let me see. There's something else too. Yeah. And whatever this worry is about how you're going to do something, and also feeling kind of alone in this, you need to really pull in your other resources, because at this point in your career, in this stage of your life, your network is expansive. So you need to really look beyond who is right in your face and figure out who you can bring in that can actually elevate what you're trying to do. And also delegating too. Spirit is saying something about delegating tasks. You don't need to take on every little thing. You need to tell somebody, look, I don't have time to do this. You need to do it. I think it's interesting how Jordan talked about having an intern. That's so important. That's such an important piece, because it's like, if there's someone that has time on their hands and they want to be a part of it and all they want to do is help, you have to be able to just be like, you know what? Do it. And actually trust that person to execute it, because you pick the right person. You're picking the right people to work with. And honestly, these people are really truly a blessing, really, because you don't need to necessarily pay for them. They just want to be a part of it. They just want to say, I was there, because they know that you're onto something. So
that's it.
Yep, that's it.
Awesome. That was really
Thank you for that.
Okay.
For that reading for the week. So I hope people will take heed and take it personal, and make whatever adjustments you need to.
Yes, absolutely.
To make. So the fun part, I really wanted to talk about, because me and Coco, talked offline, but she told me she has some really interesting ghost stories. Now, I'm a sucker for horror. I'm a sucker for being scared. I love anything dramatic, horrifying. I don't know why.
Emphasis on dramatic.
Shut up. Definitely dramatic. So I wanted to actually talk with you about some of your, I don't want to say best, I guess your worst ghost stories that you've experienced.
Some scary ghost stories? Because they're a little triggering. Scary ghost stories would be, I remember I was laying in bed. This was like early, like in the morning, probably around like 4:30 and 5 o'clock. And my spirit guides and my ancestors try to protect me as much as possible. But for whatever reason, these people were trying to get at me. And I know why. It was because I was dealing with someone who was not trying to like receive their messages. So for me, it's just like, first in spirits, when they realize that I can see and hear them, they're like, oh, you can see and hear? You can see me? Okay, cool. I need to talk to you. So they pushed past my spirit guides, and they were like, you need to give this person a message. You need to give this person. And I'm like, I don't want to. And then they started to choke me. To the point of I couldn't speak. And when I tried to speak, it was like, I can't really speak. Like, I had to like whisper, and I'm loud. Like, I'm naturally kind of like boisterous. So it was very, very uncomfortable. And I remember, and it lasted for a couple of hours until I finally got in touch with the person who needed the message. And it was so like direct. It was like very, very specific directions. They were like, he needs to go to the water, and you need to give him these messages. So we went into the woods, and it like, I've never been to this place before, and we're hiking, and all of a sudden I hear rushing water. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, where are we right now? Like, and they were like, you need to get in the water. It's like mid-December. I'm like, I'm not getting in the water. Yeah. Like, absolutely not. So then they just started speaking through me. And I pretty much was possessed by like 3 different spirits. One of them was very, very old. One of them was younger, but then was so filled with so much sadness that I just cried the entire time. And I knew that it was not my tears. And then one was a man. So I heard myself speaking in a very, I don't want to say demonic, because it wasn't a demon, but it was a very deep voice coming out of me. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I was just sitting there rocking and shaking because I couldn't do anything else until everything was finished. Yeah.
Well, did the person receive the message?
Well, I was dating this person and then they broke up with me. After I gave them the message. And took me. It was like a 45-minute channel. I was completely drained after that.
But were you scared?
Yes and no, because I've never been attacked like that. Like, I didn't have control. Like, when I was trying to get out of the bed, I felt so heavy that I had to like army crawl to the bathroom.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was awful. It was terrible. And I was like, never again. Like, I don't ever want to feel that ever again.
But that's not something it just kind of happened.
Yeah, it just kind of happened. That was definitely unexpected. It never happened to me again. But it was scary as hell. Like, it was really, really scary. Like, I was blown. And I'm not one to, like, blow somebody's phone up. Like, I'm going to call you once. And then that's it. I was, like, blowing. Like, yeah. No, I was blowing his phone. Like, we need to go to the woods. I don't know why. Like, but we need to go to the woods. And he knew exactly which woods to take me to.
Wow.
Like, it was, yeah.
So how was dating with you? Like, I know you have a boyfriend now, but, like, how do men... Are they afraid of you? Like,
yes.
Do the spirit just align you with somebody who's already connected in that realm? Or
most men are afraid of me when I tell them that I am who I am. Like, after like
you'll put period
like
spaghetti.
Sometimes at first it's really for real. First it's cool,
right?
First it's a cool thing. Then it's scary because they realize how powerful I am. And that when I'm sitting down at home and I'm just like, oh, my grandma over there. They're like, yo, what the fuck? Like, that's just scary, you know?
Yeah,
it's scary. So it's very hard. I don't have sex with people that are not aligned with me, because it just is not good for me. And, like, their spirits stick with me, and I can't handle it. I can't take it. So I'm very, very choosy about who I deal with. Because, quite frankly, if you're not on a spiritual journey, if you are not honing in your gifts like I am, I can't be with you. And it's not like, I just can't. If your vibration isn't high, I can't be with you. Like, I just can't. It just won't work. I tried it. It don't work.
So does that happen to normal people? Because people will say, like, when you have sex with somebody, their spirit and energy automatically attaches to you. And you're wondering why. Like, things aren't going the way you want to. Or when people say your blessings are being blocked, like, that's really...
Yeah, that is real for men and women. And I actually just had a conversation with my homegirl. I wish more men would keep their shit to themselves. Because women stick to you. Their energy stick to you the same way that men stick to women. Like, and it ain't always good. She may be as beautiful as she could possibly be, but shorty is fucking crazy. And you're wondering why she's blowing your phone up. You're wondering why, like, all of these things are happening. Like, because you had sex with her and you knew it wasn't right. Like, you know it wasn't right. And even for women, like, when I say, like, I have had readings with people where spirit will just be like, you need to break up with this person. They are blocking your blessings. And as soon as they break up with them, they get a job.
Wow.
Like, everything else then opens up. And it's, like,
so
almost immediately.
Why is it that some people may block their blessings and it's not intentional? Like, let's say things are mediocre. Like, they're not super great. They're not super bad. But there's a reason you are stuck in life. You know, what can be some of the things that makes a blessing get blocked based off of a different individual?
Karma. Karma. That's one of the main things. Sometimes a person is not supposed to be a part of your good karma. They're not supposed to be a part of your blessings. Like, okay, maybe you're meant to be a celebrity or something like that, right?
Right.
And if you're not around somebody that is like a good person or whatever, their energy is just off. Karma is going to be like, no, they can't be a part of what you got going on because you're about to step into some crazy, like, amazing life. But they done did some fucked up shit. I've dealt with people who dealt with drug dealers and shit. Like, that person is not meant to be a part of this amazing life and this amazing blessing that you have that wants to come to you. They're not meant to have that, like, because of their own karma.
Speaking of karma, just as well as you can attract good karma, like bad karma as well. Like, what happens, in those instances? Like, if we're talking about, things that you may have done against somebody else, or just whatever you created in bad karma, and like, how does it, when it comes back to you, I'm guessing, is it natural? Like, is it a way to block a bad karma thing, or do you just have to experience that karma?
It depends on how bad it is, but that shit, it can follow you through lifetimes. Yeah. It can follow you through lifetimes. It's been times where I've heard people say, I've killed someone in my past life. You got to pay for that. You got to pay for that. You got to pay for that. You have to pay for whatever you have done to humanity. You have that shit comes back around, and no one is perfect. Yeah. Right. No one is perfect. We all have done, some fucked up things, or whatever the case may be in our lives, and whatever we may do in the future, as we get older. But you're going to pay for it. Yeah. You're going to pay for it. You got to make it right. You got to make it right. So even to me, it's like, if you do some fucked up shit, you better do something like 10 times more amazing to kind of counteract that,
what they did. So speaking of the afterlife, because you see dead people, you can engage with people who are in different dimensions. How do you feel about the afterlife? Because as some people believe there's a heaven, there's a hell. Some people don't believe in it at all. Some people think that there's like layers to hell or layers to heaven. So how do you feel about what the afterlife actually is?
I think that is beautiful. I think it can be very beautiful. I do believe that we choose to come down to earth. I mean, there's so many different dimensions. There's so many different places to go. I mean, sometimes it's like, maybe you're an animal, maybe you're human. You know what I mean? Right. But I find it to be very beautiful. And I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. Like, it's hard to explain. Only because the afterlife, like, there is an afterlife. Okay. Your ancestors do go somewhere. Like, but that's wherever they choose. Like, that's in time, like, the way that humans see time is like a start and a beginning, but time is not linear. There's levels to time. Like, so, I've seen my dad as a young man, like, where he wanted to be on a basketball court in Baltimore City. You know what I mean? That's where he wanted to be. That's what makes him feel good. I've seen some spirits that are somewhere on a beach. Beautiful place. It's just like, when spirits have free will. They could go wherever the hell they want to go, just like we can. They could choose to do whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? So.
But is there a place, I guess, for bad souls to be punished?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I mean, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. Yeah. I've never seen hell. Okay. But I've had conversations with death. Like the entity of death. Like the deity of death. And he ain't a bad guy. Like, death is like, to me, he reminds me of like a cool ass aunt. Like, just chill, He ain't, you know, some dark hooded, like,
Yeah,
you know, not at all. Not at all. He's, you know, he just is, he's cool. He's cool.
So one of the things we talked about offline is reincarnation, which a lot of people who are in India believe, who are Hindu, they believe in reincarnation. What are your thoughts on that?
Ancestors definitely come back. They definitely come back. For sure. Like a lot of times, and sometimes they'll come back into the family lineage. So it's just kind of like, oh, yeah, you remind me of grandma. Grandma came back, you know?
Just grandma, something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you know, or young, like, and even for people where someone dies and then a baby is born, like in the same, like, instance in the same family, it's like, sometimes it's just like they want to get that another opportunity to do it again. Even for, and once again, it's a choice. You choose to come back down to earth. There's something that maybe you haven't finished, you know, on earth. You haven't finished your life's mission, you know, your life's purpose. You're not done. You're not done your work. So you want to come back again and do it over again. That's why I find that some things are just, they come easy to people, like super easy, naturally can just do it. You know what I mean? They've done it before. They've probably done it 1,000 times over. I love talking to artists because their souls, it's just like they've always been an artist, always been creating in their entire like lifetimes. They just come and choose to, you know, paint or draw or take photos or videos or whatever. They're just creative beyond belief, you know? So, but then you might get where things might get cut short, right? And you're like, you know what? It was really, really easy up until this point.
Right.
And then it's hard because your soul's never done it before.
Wow.
You know? So
you think everyone that's here has already been here?
No. No. Okay. There's definitely, like, when you find people who are, which we call are like young souls, where they're very immature, very naive. They don't have an understanding of human emotion. They can, and I find too that young souls can easily become addicts because they've never experienced it before. So it's like, oh my God, this shit feel good. It feels good, you know, but they've never experienced that feeling. So they want it all the time. They want it all the time. And then once again, it's that, oh, you got an old soul.
Yeah.
You know? You have children that you've met and you're like, you've been here before. People don't just say that just to say it. They have been here before. You have, even my daughter, old soul. But even when you talk to children, I love talking to children because they're the closest to the spirit realm. If you actually listen and talk to a child, they are so much more insightful. I've heard experiences where, even they can see spirits. Babies, they see spirits. They sit and play with them all the time. You see a baby playing, and they're just laughing it up, and just probably because grandma then came down and started playing with their grandbaby, you know. But if you ever sit and talk to children, or, you know, ask them, you know, what do you think of angels? What do you think of God? What do you think of these, you know, different things? And actually take that in, I'm like, that actually kind of makes sense. Like, it actually kind of makes sense. Like,
so when they're playing with their imaginary friend, we should
acknowledge that. Like,
it's a possibility that it's a spirit.
Absolutely. When I think about, because I had an imaginary friend, and I was just like, that was a whole spirit guide.
Wow.
Like, that was what that was, that protected me, and we played and hung out and all of that. Like, okay. Like, it's a lot of times what, as adults, we're like, oh, that's just your imagination.
Right.
Even
right.
There's so many times, like, there's a ghost in my room. There's something in my room. Kids can feel that shit.
Listen, my mom, shout out to my mother, because she's going to watch this and listen to this. And I will never forget, when I was younger, I used to have horrible nightmares. I was telling you this. And I didn't know until I was about 16 or 17. My mother disclosed with me the house I grew up in Philly. Someone committed suicide. But I used to tell my mother, not only did I used to have really bad nightmares, I used to hear footsteps, and I used to hear whispers. And I used to be petrified to look through my hallway because I swore I felt a present, like a certain presence that was negative. It was a negative entity in the house. And, I would go in my room and cry, and after I'm having these nightmares, and they were the same one reoccurring all the time. Mm-hmm. She would like pray over me, and I would go back to sleep, and it would get better. But I would hear footsteps, and it was carpeted steps. Like, who the hell is walking that hard on carpet? And it dawned on me until she told me that. I didn't know someone committed suicide, but I'm like, damn. So all that time when I was telling you this, you knew it was a possibility that the house could have been haunted. Mm-hmm. But she didn't want me to think that way because, Black people are afraid to talk about the spiritual realm unless we're talking about Jesus. Mm. So when it comes to children for you, especially like your daughter, you said that she's gifted. How do you hone in on those skills? Because a lot of times, like, it freaks people the fuck out. Like, if your child says, hey, I saw this man, he was talking to me. It's like, oh, girl, you dreaming. Or, oh, boy, shut up and go play with your toys. So how can we start really having that conversation about gifted kids? Because it is real. It is real. My little cousin, when he was very young, he had a very strong presence when it came to energy. Even though he can, formulate sentences, he was about 2 or 3. You can walk into a room and he'll just be like, no. Like, no, I'm not, no, I don't want to go. No, I don't want to do it. If he sees someone's arguing, like he was very sensitive to energy. And for me, I was like, oh, like he's very sensitive, but children are always sensitive. Even in movies, they always have like the child, the prodigal. They can sense things, they can hear things, they can see things. So what is the best way to have the conversation and hone in on those gifts?
The one thing that I always tell my daughter, because one, it's just a regular conversation.
Right.
I try really hard not to make like, oh my God, like, it doesn't need to be scary. And I always ask her, well, did it feel good or did it feel bad? Because we need to know that so we can know how to take care of it. Mm-hmm. If it feels good, then okay, all right, fine. And I tell her all the time, like, you don't have to acknowledge it. And if you don't want it there, whether it's good or bad, you can always tell it to leave. And if you tell it to leave and it still don't leave, you come tell mommy and I'll deal with it and we can smudge it out, or do whatever needs to be done to take care of it. I tell her, like, if it doesn't feel good, don't acknowledge it and come tell mommy. But she has, shared with me what her gifts are, and she's still very young, so I haven't yet really, and she meditates. She does enjoy doing yoga, but I haven't quite really allow her to fully dive in because she's still a child. And yes, children are highly protected, from God, like with God and angels and things like that. But they're also very vulnerable.
Right.
So it's easy for spirits and negative energy to attach to them. You have children who they don't sleep at night. They have night terrors and things like that. Those children need to be protected, and there's something trying to attach to them. Or you just find that your child is just angry for no apparent reason, like beyond like, oh, they're upset because they didn't get this, or they're upset because of that, like just super out of character, then there's something going on with them. But I definitely say acknowledge it and just listen. Don't tell a child that because what they're seeing or hearing is wrong. Right. Like to me it's or instilling a fear. Because then there's that, because it is scary, it's even for me as an adult. So as a child, it's just, seeing spirits and things like that, it can be really scary. You got a spirit coming through your wall. Like, so it's just kind of one of those things where it's just like this, you don't need to be afraid of it necessarily, but you do need to be aware. And to me, it's just like, empower your children by giving them knowledge and giving them information. And if you don't have the information and if you don't have the knowledge yourself, go seek somebody that does. Because you're really doing your child a disservice if you see that they are gifted by not really allowing them to hone their gifts develop their gifts and not be afraid of themselves. You know, that's why I feel like a lot of us as adults, we then have to go back and do this work all over again, because I used to tell my daughter all the time, when I realized that I was psychic and gifted, I told her, you're psychic and you're going to be really powerful one day, just so that she can hear it and know it, so that she's not afraid and just knows that, well, my mom used to tell me how powerful I am, so I know it's coming, you know. So, yeah.
So for people who are not like you, for instance, like my mother, I think she subconsciously knew what we were dealing with. But she didn't have the tools or didn't want to believe that it could possibly be a negative spirit or a negative entity in the house. So for people who are not a part of the psychic realm, what can you do to protect your kids when evil is happening in the house?
Pray over them. Like, your mom praying over you is by far one of the strongest protections that you probably could have ever had as a child. When you pray for your children, when you when you lay hands on your children and say, please protect my child, like, that is so powerful than just doing nothing. You know, yes, we protect our children all the time, you know, from danger and, you know, don't do that, don't do this. But to lay hands on your child and pray over them is by far, like, one of the most simplest ways that you can protect your children. For sure. Like, the most simple, like, basic, you don't even need to, like, necessarily, you know, be super religious, but just ask for protection. Protect my child from this, protect my child from that. You know, it's by far one of the most simplest things that you could do.
That is really powerful.
Yeah.
And now that I feel like more people are becoming more spiritual than religious, and people are trying to find, you know, outside of being a Christian, outside of being Jewish, outside of being Muslim, you know, what are some other things that we can practice and learn? And the one thing, of course, television is the best way to get information out there and to either enhance or decrease people's knowledge, because there's a lot of dumb people in this world. But when it comes to shows like Tyler the Medium or Teresa, you know, who is a medium from Long Island, you know, how do you feel about that? Do they bring joy to your community? Do you feel like it's an embarrassment? They should keep it to themselves? Like, how does it make you feel to see these people on these powerful platforms?
I love it because I can see the real and the fake. So when I'm watching them and I'm just like, whoa, that's real. Like, that's really real. And I think that sometimes people, because it's on TV, people see it as like this novelty thing. But it's real. And like, what they're doing is real. Like, to me, it's just like, okay, cool. And even when I started seeing especially the Long Island Medium, seeing her show, it's just like, oh, okay. Like, all right, there's real people out here doing these things.
Are they both real?
I believe so, absolutely. I feel like the Long Island medium is a little bit more powerful than Tyler, and I don't know if that's because she's been doing it for a long time. But she, yeah, and yeah.
You can feel it?
Yeah, I can definitely feel it. I can definitely feel it because you just know. And sometimes, like, because I can see, too, there's just like, oh, yeah, I see that, too. Like, I can feel that, too. Yeah, for sure.
I've never seen any of these shows, is what I
Oh, okay.
Well, I never seen Teresa, the Long Island Medium, but I seen Tyler. And the one episode, I will try my best not to laugh so hard, is Little Kim.
Oh, I've never seen that episode. I'm going to have to go and find that one.
Little Kim tried to reach out to, you know, Biggie. And I was just like, but she was a side chick. Like, you the wrong person that should be calling on to. I'm not saying that their relationship didn't matter, but I just felt like,
it was disrespectful.
I thought it was very disrespectful. Like, that's something you could have hired him to come to your house, you know, to do.
Yeah, I see that.
You know what I mean? Like, Faith should be the one that
is doing that televised.
Right, exactly. But the one thing that really, it was an episode with Ice-T and Coco. And, you know, like, with men, like, especially black men, they're so skeptical. Like, they don't even go to the doctor.
They're my biggest skeptics.
They're so skeptical. And it's like, they don't even believe what the hell their primary doctor just and their whole liver is falling apart. But, like, Coco, I think her grandmother had just passed away. And Tyler was just saying shit. Like, and Coco was like, it was fucking her up because she was like, I never told anyone this information. It was like a necklace that she used to wear as a child, and she wanted her to wear it, and she was letting her know that she's okay. You don't have to worry about me. You know, Ice-T was sitting there, you know, he was chilling at first. And then she was saying some shit, and he just got closer, closer and closer and closer. And it fucked him up because he knows his wife. He knows the relationship she had with her grandmother. And it was just things that people couldn't find on Wikipedia. It was certain things that you just couldn't find on Google. And it kind of helped him understand, like, okay, there's actually some validity and some truth to this. So that's why, like, I kind of, like, I get excited to see it, but then at the same time, I'm like, oh, no, like, this is going to be fraudulent. Like, we don't want to do stuff like that. So, but you do believe that they're real.
I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, is there any fakes that's on TV that we should know about?
Not that I have. Not that I
no
have.
more Cleos.
Yeah, not that I have noticed. Not that I have noticed. But I don't really watch TV like that. I don't really watch TV like that. So, yeah.
Hey,
little girl, you gotta turn that off. I'm like, give her the like.
I know. I'm like, they're not paying us no. So, yeah, back to what we were saying. So you said there's no one fake.
I have not. I have not seen any fakes so far.
No, what would it mean to see women of color in these spaces, especially black women?
When I started, and still even now, people were like, I didn't know that black people did this. Like, I didn't know that you existed until now. Like, and I'm like, really? Now, granted, because I'm in this community, I know plenty of black healers and readers and, you know, things like that. So it's just like, for real? Like, it's lacking. Even just people of color in general is lacking. And we haven't really put ourselves out there, I feel like, enough to actually be seen and to be heard. Like, I don't know a lot of people doing, you know, anything. Like, I only know, like, very, like, a very small, like, handful of people that are, like, really trying to be kind of in the forefront and like really paving the way for other black spiritualists and just people of color in general, because once again it's still negative. These like very negative connotations around what we do.
Even edges of rage.
Yeah, it's all fear-based.
It's all fear-based, So,
yeah, when you have people that say, like, oh, you're going to hell, you know.
Exactly.
Or you're a bad person, or, you know, you talk to dead people, and you're a voodoo queen, and, you know.
Well, even when people come and get, like, readings and things like that for the very first time, and then they finish, and they be like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And I'm like, it wasn't bad at all. Like, people always are just like, I don't want to get it because I don't want to hear anything bad. And I'm just like, well, are you a bad person or something? Like, why are you assuming that what is going to come through is going to be bad? Like,
yeah, and that's real. I think for me, I remember the first time I actually seen it was with Carmen with Beyonce. And she, you know, Wyclef Jean was playing the reader, and she got the death card. And she was like, no. That was my shit. Carmen was just on Netflix like a couple of months ago. It was my whole life. But when I saw it, and I was like, oh, shit. And so when I got my first reading, I was like, oh, my God, I'm going to get the death card like Beyonce did and Carmen. And I'm the one dying like the next day. Because, you know, she died behind the stage because of the boy. But, you know, so in those situations, like, those movies, they really play into your psyche. Because even when I was younger, I wanted to be a witch. Not necessarily like a bad one, but
you was Charmed.
I was the craft, bitch.
Yes, the craft will have you wanting to be like, yes.
You wanted to be a cool witch.
Yes. I wanted to get at all of the
Yes. Feather stiff as a board.
Yes.
And I remember doing that in the 5th grade. Sorry, Mom. I did that in the 5th grade.
We all did it.
Yeah, and we did it at recess. She didn't levitate at all. But we really, really wanted her to. Mm-hmm. If she did, I probably would have peed on myself and passed out. But it was just like those little things. It really does play a factor into that. Like seeing Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the original, even though the Netflix show is really good.
This is way better than that.
But it's all these little shows. Charmed. Mm-hmm. What's another little witch show that I used to watch? Bewitched. I Love Genie, which is shows that my grandmother used to watch on Nick at Night. I used to always be fascinated with magic and things like that. And so my mom would get upset and say, you need to stop watching this stuff because it's brainwashing you to do these demonic things. And I'm like, no one's thinking about Lucy. Like, no one's thinking about Lucifer, like, at all. If anything I feel like you're being in tune with nature. Mm-hmm. And you feel like the spiritual balance more so than, like, chopping off a chicken's neck and like sucking the blood out of it, like.
But there's space for that.
It is
like and even those are not like demonic.
Exactly. But the thing that some people don't know that if we weren't slaves, depending on what country you were from in Africa, that would have been your religion. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what you would have been doing and practicing. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people are just unaware culturally, and like we were talking about off air, like a lot of Black people, we do magical shit, you know. And you were saying like how we pour one out for the homie. What do you call that?
Pouring libations.
And when we light candles for people that die, what is that called?
Just honoring our ancestors,
right? And so if you were to see that, if you put that in context, you don't think like you're doing anything special. Mm-hmm. But then it is special, you know, to some people depending on what you believe in. But it is honoring someone who has passed on. You know, when you send balloons in the air, you know, just like we're talking about when you eat black-eyed peas for New Year's Eve, you know, it's supposed to be good luck. Or all the little sayings that a lot of our family talk about. And a lot of them come from the South. Yes. And what happened in the South? And where did those people come from? And where did they come from? So it has everything to do with like lineage and power and knowing that. But I think the biggest thing is just ignorance and really being able to like figure out like what is good and what is evil. Because there is evil shit out there. Like let's not get confused. Like there's some fucked up shit, demonic, whatever you call it, negative
absolutely
stuff going on. But just like there's a yin, there's a yang. So if you think there's bad stuff, you also have to believe that there's good stuff. There's positive things. There's light. There's presence. There's something that's bigger than you. So I think that is so important. We can sit here and talk all fucking day, but I just really appreciate you for coming and joining the show. And I want people to learn more about you and more women of color that's in this space. So please give them your IG handle, the best way to contact you. She does readings over the phone, so you do not have to be in Baltimore to talk to her.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Coco_Alexa_. If you click that link in the bio, you can book a reading with me. I do over the phone, email, video chat, and you can be in whatever time zone all around the world. Does not matter. We can do this thing.
Yeah. And she is the truth. She was so a blessing to do a reading with me, and I'm telling you, like she read me for filth, y'all. I mean, it was a good reading. It wasn't like I got the death card, thank God. But I definitely knew that she was real because the things that she was saying happened the same exact day. Like I texted her and I was like, "Oh my God, the spirit was right. Like I can't believe it. It wasn't like this should happen years from now, 2 weeks later. It happened in the same exact day. Yeah. Monday, I saw her in the afternoon. By 8 o'clock, the shit had happened that day. So she is definitely official and legit. So I appreciate you so much. You know, she'll be my new spiritual guide, like healer, you know, for me. Yes. So for our Ask the Read for this week, it's going to be a little bit different since we do have Coco here. We actually asked the individual to ask her a question, and she can do like a little reading for you in regards to that. So what do I have to do?
You don't have to do anything. You already done it because I have her name, which I won't speak out loud. Okay. Just for confidentiality. And yeah, let's just get into it. Okay. Let's get into it. All right.
Should I give you the middle name so it can be?
Let's try to be as specific for this person because
Eeks isn't such a
common name.
I think this is it.
I was about to say, how long is her middle name? You
or if it's not that, then it's that.
Okay, that's fine.
That's the initial. Shut up.
I want to listen.
Okay. Spirit, we call upon you graciously with love and light, and for the remainder of her. How can she find peace in her life?
Yes, that's one of the questions that she asked is how can she find peace?
How can she find peace in her life? With love and light, Spirit. All right, let's see. She needs to move on. Like, whatever you're going through, sis, stop. Like, you're suffering, and you're suffering in silence as well because you haven't even really told anybody what's actually going on. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to see the truth and stop trying to hide and be blind to it, okay? You can leave, and you do know how to be alone. It's this fear of being by yourself and being alone, and you feel like you're going to be alone all your life, which is not true. But you're really wasting a lot of time where you're at right now, and you are really just kind of really doing a disservice to yourself because there's a lot of things that you desire and a lot of things that you want, but it's going to take a much, much longer time for you to get there because you refuse to just continue on with your life versus just trying to remain in this stagnant place. So if you're trying to find peace, then you need to leave because where you are right now is not peaceful, and it's just a matter of you going. Like, it's almost kind of like you're being in this like super duper loud room and you're asking for peace, and it's just like, well, just walk out the door, sis. Like, you don't need to stay there. It's not necessary. And you've been getting this push to move forward for a really long time, but you are so stubborn. Like, seriously, just like, oh God, you're so stubborn. You're so stubborn, and you have a really, really big ego, and you have this, and I know what's good for me. So if you know what's so good for you, then why are you not doing what's good for you? If you know that you want the best of the best of the best, which you do, then why are you allowing someone to not give you and treat you the way that you deserve? Because whomever you're around, I don't know if this, whatever this relationship, they can't even afford you. Like, they can't afford you. You keep trying to drag this person along and be like, come on, we can do it. No, they cannot. Like, they can't afford you. Like, they need to really get their money up. Like, for real. Because the life that you're trying to live, y'all are going to be like house poor.
Come on, house poor.
Like, you're always going to be kind of suffering and in this scarcity mindset because of this person that you're dealing with, or these people that you're around are also in this scarcity mindset. But you want to be abundant. You're not going to be abundant with this person. So I feel like this kind of even ties. I'm very curious to see if this ties into the next question. So I'm just going to get into the next question, which is, will your relationship, your romantic relationship with your partner last? And if they're the one. So let's see.
I guess that card did not slip out by mistake.
Oh, not at all. And you know what? Like, for real, you are so powerful in your own right, and you're successful too in your own right, even if it's like big or small. You are a powerful person, and the person that you're with is not. They can't handle you. You're too much for them. You need to go. Like, ASAP. And you're getting the same card again. You need to run. Like, I'm gonna need. You want to talk about the death card?
Oh my goodness.
You want to talk about the full, like, sis, I need you to go, and you need to cut this person off. Like, you've been doing this little dumbass dance with this person. You want to drag them along and come on, we can do it. No. Like, absolutely not. They're hurting you, and you're allowing it. You're asking about how you can find peace, but you're allowing somebody to hurt you constantly lying to you all the time, lying to your face, and you're just like, oh, okay, but I love them. It ain't enough love in the world to be treated like this. Is not enough love in the world. You need to love yourself way more, like way more. You deserve better. Come on, dead this situation. This whole death card coming out, dead the whole situation. Move on. It's time for you to elevate. Like, you're not going to, you're not going to be able to do a lot of the things that you desire with this person because they just aren't there. Like, and they never will be. So and it's 2020. We're starting a whole new decade. Why are you dragging this person into your decade? This is supposed to be a decade of abundance and growth. You can't do that with somebody who is refusing to change and refusing to evolve. And once again, they continue to hurt you. Spirit is telling me that they keep putting knives in your back. Can you look at this card and, like, just describe that card? Just so that, like,
literally a man on the ground with multiple, is that machetes?
Yes.
In his back.
Like, constantly, time after time, hurting you. And you just take it. You take the blows. When are you going to, like, defend yourself at this point? Like, at what point you're going to say, no more. I'm not going to tolerate this. Okay? You need to really work on your self-love. You know, earlier you talked about self-respect. Mm-hmm. You know. Sorry. You talked about self-respect. And this whole thing is, do you respect yourself enough to say, I deserve better and I'm worthy of better? Because right here, this is showing me that you don't feel like you're worthy of anything better than what you're getting right now. You're asking if this person is the one. Are they? Like, are they the one? Is this, if when you close your eyes, do you really see that this person can provide the life that you want and that they can be there and see you through and support you through the very, very, very difficult times and actually be your biggest cheerleader when you're growing and you're doing amazing things? Because they have already showed you time and time again that they are not there and they will not be there for you when you need them. So whatever reason as to you feel like, but I can't. Yes, you can, and you need to do it. For you want to find peace, do it so that you can have peace in your mind, in your body, and in your soul, and in your physical space.
Well, I hope you receive that word, and you know when people tell you to run, because I'm looking at these cards, honey.
I would run as well. If you saw this, friend,
I'm seriously, friend. Like, you have one knife here, you have multiple knives here, and then there's a card. Is that
the death card is enough.
We were just talking about that. And then it says the hermit. So I feel like that's like being in a shell, like to be behind like a wall.
Well, in this case, because it's in reverse, it's more so of it's time to leave. It's time to leave the show. It's time to leave the home space. If you guys are living together or in close quarters of one another, it's time for you to go. They can stay.
But you
have to go.
Yeah.
Even whatever furniture, like, and Spirit is telling me too, I'm sorry, But Spirit is telling me to, whatever you have brought into their home, unfortunately, you're going to have to take the L and leave it, because all of the arguing, all of the bullshit, all of the heaviness of it is all on that furniture, all in that. And you're going to end up carrying that same energy into your new space. Mm-hmm. You deserve better. And I hope that you can just take this and move forward.
I hope you can receive this word, friend. Yes. So to close everything off, our words of wisdom this week is, each time a woman stands up for herself without knowing it, possibly without claiming it, she stands up for all women. And that's by Maya Angelou. So for Women's Month, we're going to get started. And when you use your voice, when you speak up, you don't know that you might be the martyr, the advocate for someone else. If you make the first step to do what you need to do, to speak your truth, to live your truth, you don't know how that inspires and encourages other people to do the same thing. So stand firm in what you believe in and use your voice and speak up, because it's not just for you, it can be for all. So thank you everyone for being on the show. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you next time. If you can't get enough of the Bitch Let's Talk, you can always follow us on IG and Facebook at BLT Podcast and on Twitter at Bitch Let's Talk. If you want more content and updates on the show, you can always go to our website, bltpodcast.com.